Hey, I'm Charlie Ruff. I'm a biology teacher here at Shelby High School, and this is my National Geographic Capstone video. Over the past 2 days, my class and I have really been focusing on the human impact on marine environments. The first day they walked in class for a warm-up, and there was a picture on the board of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. What they had to do is look at this picture and pick up some wows and wonders. Wows would be things that they noticed about the picture. This may be pieces of trash, metal, plastic floating around the ocean, as well as things that they wondered. Wonders are the questions that they may have. How did this get here? Why is that there? Where did it come from? So I wanted to kickstart their knowledge for the lesson for the day. Once we finished going through the warm-up, I began discussing the main types of pollution that we go over, with emphasis on water pollution. So many times we forget that when it rains, it pours, and what I mean by that is when it rains and it collects, all this junk that we leave in our roads and our yards, and all that water has to go somewhere, and lots of times it's carrying tons of things with it. This is, includes but not limited to, plastic bottles, trash, things, chemical waste, pesticides, all kinds of stuff is being, taken down to our drains and eventually into the water treatment facilities. After the students had a better understanding of the types of pollution and how it affects our ecosystems, we were able to look at an animation created by the NOAA and to really recognize how much impact humans have had on the ocean. It turns out, and I didn't know this myself, that only about 4% of all the water in the world has not been impacted by humans. And this just blew my mind as we watched on the map and watched the screen turn from blue to yellow to red to see the severity of how much we've impacted those parts of the ocean. After watching that, we were also able to dive into a podcast called Ocean Priorities. The students really enjoyed listening to this. They were able to hear from a scientist who shouted off facts left and right about what's going on, what's happening, and this gave insight of what the future was going to be like. It's one of the cool things to see where students were asking questions of how could they help to do this. The next day, so day 2, we were able to take the next day and actually go outside and apply. Right behind our high school, we have a creek on the cross-country trail, and we're able to walk down. No, it's not an ocean. No, it's not a massive lake. But it's a piece that these students can actually see. So we were lucky enough to get to go down to the creek right behind the school, and we walked the entire creek just to discover that there were loads of trash just all floating around. We saw things like shopping carts, funnels from oil filters, plastic cans, plastic bags, aluminum cans, big chunks of metal, signs. Anything that you could think of was probably littered out there. Once we came in from outside, we reviewed everything that we had found. We discussed the journey we went down the creek. We started asking questions of why and how instead of questions like what, when, and where. This really encourages me as a teacher to see how my students are beginning to dive deeper into, instead of these one-sentence questions that can be answered in a heartbeat. They really want to be able to understand why is this going on. Like, they think on a much deeper level. Once we were able to get that, we opened up our expert folders. Our expert folders was a collection of different artifacts where the students could read and actually become an expert in this field of pollution and marine ecosystems and how they have changed over time, how have humans impacted them negatively as well as positively. So this gave students a chance to dive in, to look over, to discuss with their group, and to create and answer complex questions to be shared later as a presentation. Lastly, throughout this entire lesson, my main goal was to get my students to see that there is more to life than what they see outside their back porch. So many of our kids get sucked into believing that this is all that they will ever know. And that's not the truth. There's so much life out there. There are so many things to be discovered out there. And I want to encourage my students to do more, to go. If there was one hope that I had from my lesson, it's that my classroom would incorporate a sense of adventure into learning. I want my students to be able to understand that learning is more than just book work or research behind a computer. Learning is going out and applying yourself to the life around you. There are so many jobs and so many opportunities that these students can take advantage of, but it all starts in the classroom, and it all starts with us teachers. I've already had so many kids ask, what are opportunities that they can follow in biology and science just from this lesson. It's encouraging to hear as a teacher, and it's great to know that organizations like National Geographic are making a difference.